What is good, yo? It's your boy Ty back here with another video, and in this video today, we're going to be doing a tier list of some of the best centers in NBA 2K22 MyTEAM. Now, I want to start off by saying this tier list isn't going to be super long because, I mean, we don't have a ton of players here. A lot of these, a lot of the power forward centers, I actually did on my power forward tier list because most of the time at center, you opt for height. So even a guy like Patrick Ewing, most people probably will play him at power forward, but he still did make this center tier list. But, guys like Yao are on this list, Artis, those center primaries, even Kareem. Those are the ones we are mainly going to be looking at today, as well as, guys like Jarrett Allen, I did not include in that power forward tier list. Before we dive any further into this today, if you are new to my channel and have not yet, make sure to smash that subscribe button as we're on the road to 90,000 subscribers. Started off with big Artis Gilmore. Now here's the deal. Is Artis S tier or is he A tier? That's the question of the day, right? And I'm going to debate this for a little bit. My first thing is this. Hot spots from both corners. He's 7'2", 7'5" wingspan. But look at the defense of Artis Gilmore. How many people play better defense than Artis? I think it's a limited number. And I think it's so limited that Artis has to be S tier. I get it. His release is jump shot 1 on quick, which is actually a good release. But here's the deal, guys. 83 ball, no hot spots from above the break. It's going to be tough to green with them. I'm just throwing that out there. Unless you do have the pace and space coach, it is going to be tough to green with big Artis. Now, what I will say is if you do have, let's say, Don Nelson, which I'm guessing you guys have a dark or a Galaxy Opal coach if you have Artis. Look at him. I mean, speed, perimeter, interior, all the defensive badge in the world. He is absolutely incredible. I don't necessarily love Artis, but to say he's not S tier is absolutely wild. Bill Russell's diamond card is a card I actually don't mind. I'm still waiting for us to get a new Bill Russell because I think if he can play power forward, heck, even small forward, he'll be absolutely elite. But this card for his time still was good. And if you are still using the diamond Bill Russell, I mean, he's solid if you do play him at power forward. Set shot 17 on normal timing is kind of the only big letdown that I do see, right? But still, considering everything, I mean, you got a solid card in my team, especially on the defensive end of the court. He can shoot well, but the problem really lies in that release. Bill Walton is actually not horrible in 2K, and I said Bill Walton, but I can't tell you I said Bill Walton. I was thinking Luke Walton for some reason, but yes, Bill Walton. For some reason, guys, when I first started streaming the bracket busters, everybody's like, oh my gosh, Ty, Bill Walton's got shifty. Okay, and he does. But look at all these dribble sticks. Basic, normal, basic. Like, nobody is doing anything dribbling wise with Bill Walton. He can handle it a little bit, but I'm just saying, you can't gas that up. 74 3 ball. It doesn't get boosted with, and most coaches, I mean, it's going to be tough to green. Jump shot 37 on quick is a tough release to green. It's just, Bill Walton's okay. I just can't say he's the top center of the game. If he was able to play that power forward position, then maybe. But the problem is he can't. Chris, Birdman, Anderson, wherever Bill Russell is. And that's not me again saying that these cards are bad, because both of these cards are solid enough in my team. The problem just is they're just not that next level good. And again, it's not me, slandering the card. It's just me saying they aren't that, next tier of a good player. If you run Chris Anderson, look, guys, he only got 24 badges. He's not very good in my team. D-Rob, unquestioned S tier. I will still make the argument David Robinson is the best center in the game, and that's my personal argument that I think you can make. As far as shooting wise, I don't know if there's any defensive big man in the game that's going to shoot the ball as well as David Robinson. Now, a lot of people run D-Rob at the power forward, and I actually like that, but my thing is, like, you can run him at center, you can run him at power forward, it really doesn't matter. That's how good and how valuable David Robinson is. He's just the man with the plan in my team. It's just quite honestly that simple. 7'1", can do it all. I think he's better than Artis, to be honest with you. And that's not any slight towards Artis, because I'm a big fan of him. Deandre Ayton is a card I like still to this day, and I still think if you have Deandre Ayton, he can compete with the best. Now, obviously, speed is important, so you get Monty Williams, get that speed interior up there a little bit, but you give him those two things, I think he is probably C tier is the tier for Deandre Ayton, but he's solid still to this day. His release is actually really easy to green with, jump shot 112 on normal timing, super easy to green with, defensively very solid, the animations he gets are incredible. I'm excited for the next time we get a Deandre Ayton card. Dikembe Mutombo. Is he F tier or not? That's our question. Now, Mutombo, he had his time in 2K. The problem lies with that time is just not now. I mean, 7'2", 7'6" wingspan, 64 speed. It's just not now anymore. And he is an F tier player. I put him on this list just because it's like, guys, for a long time, Dikembe Mutombo was the man with the plan, the center that you literally had to have in my team. He's basically a week 2 card, and that's absolutely crazy to think about for Mutombo. Next up, Dwight Howard. Is there a player in 2K that got more hyped up for really no reason than Dwight Howard? Now, I get it. His speed was great. Defensively was great. I get it. And I get it. He had some things going for him. But he's a 74 3-ball with Dwight's base, which is not the easiest to green. He can't really handle the ball that well. Shooting-wise, yes, if you fully badge him out, he's good. But, I mean, you just got all this hype for, I mean, yes, he is great defensively, but still has only an 82 lateral quickness. He's just not necessarily that next tier good. I think Artis is better than him at the center position. I think D-Rob's better at the center position. I honestly think D-Rob is better at the power forward position. I'm sorry if you're a big Dwight Howard fan. I got him in A tier. Hakeem, Elijah 1 is a tough one. He's tough, because here's the deal. Do I think Hakeem is better than Dwight? My answer, yes. I think Hakeem is better than Dwight. If you're wondering why, I like his release more. Set shot 18 on quick. I just like it a little bit more. I'm not saying I love it, but I like it a little bit more. I like his player build a little bit more. He's 7 feet instead of 6'11". Just like what he gives you, just that little bit more than D12. Now, again, defensively going to be basically the same. Shooting-wise, I don't love either of their releases. And that's the main problem, right? When you're comparing these two cards to David Robinson, for example. I love D-Rob's release, where as far as D12 and Hakeem, I just can't say the same. Jarrett Allen, I think, is a perfect inclusion into B tier. Now, Jarrett Allen, he's pretty solid. A lot of people actually ran him for a while. I was never one of them, but defensively, really, really solid. 6'11" is basically the main problem. If he was just, a little taller, 7'1", for example, everybody would be running this card. Another thing is speed's not great, 3-ball not great, and if you do run, let's say a pace and space coach, the 3-ball doesn't get boosted. So he's just gonna have a mediocre 3-ball, which I don't know how you guys value that, but it is, just that little bit of a downfall. Now, the hardest guy to rank on this list is Jimmy Butler. At the power forward position, I do think he is B tier though, and that's not me sitting up here saying Jimmy is great, but here's what we got to realize. For this era, for this time, people are going to be running Sabonis at point guard, so you're going to need power forwards that can kind of guard down, right? You need a power forward that's going to be able to guard some of the smaller people in the game, and Jimmy Butler can do that, right? And if you look at everything else he does provide on the court, he's one of the best on-ball defenders in the game. If this card could play small forward, heck, even shooting guard, he will be so hyped up in the game. Problem is, he obviously is a power forward center power forward. But still, I think Jimmy Butler is absolutely ridiculous. It's hard to really rank him. I'm putting him in there at B tier. Next up, Joel Embiid. Is he just another B tier player? I think he might be if he's B tier. Let's see. You can honestly make the argument Joel Embiid is A tier. I'm probably not going to make that argument. But if you want to make the argument that Joel Embiid is A tier, I'd listen to you and I'd hear you out, because first of all, his release is good. Second of all, there's really no flaws in the card. Now, I never ran Joel Embiid, so I can't sit here and gas the card. But for people who did run Joel Embiid against me, he was really solid when, he was around. Kareem, easy inclusion into S tier. Now, you guys are going to have to let me know in the comments. Do you guys struggle shooting with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? Because anytime I play Kareem, the people shoot more lates than anything. And maybe that's just, getting used to it. But jump shot 21 on very quick is not easy to green. You look at the defense. Obviously, defensively, probably the best center in the game. I like Kareem. I'm still going to take him over both these cards at the center position. I do think he's the best center in the game. But you watch my No Money Spent. My Ralph dogged Kareem today. Like, he dogged him out. So, just keep that in the back of your minds. Karl-Anthony Towns. We're going to have to really get B tier kind of down here. But, I got to right now include him in the B tier. Just because, look, again, just an all-around center in my team. I like the fact that he can play power forward. 2K's just got to fix his release. The next Cat release got to be on very quick to at least give him a shot. Because Cat said it best. They made his release not even accurate. Like, his release is a little quicker than that. And the problem with Cat is, I can't even say his release in real life is that quick, but it's hard. If people come up to contest it, he just blows by in real life. So, it kind of works to his advantage because nobody really tries to contest it in real life. So, it's hard in 2K when it really gets down to it. Karl Malone, I'm sorry, at the center At the center position, I gotta go A tier. If we're talking about at the center position, right? Put Karl Malone at the power forward tier list at S tier. Center position, I can't have him at S tier. He doesn't do enough. He's gonna get mashed. Obviously, offensively gonna be cheesy. But I'm telling you guys, as far as the center position, Karl Malone would be at A tier. He just would be. I'm just talking about at the center position with Jimmy Butler. Obviously, has a little more flexibility, but even at the power forward position, guys, there's better power forwards in the game than Karl Malone for this era. Kristaps Porzingis. Here's the deal, guys. He's got to go A tier for me. And that's not me sitting up here gassing Kristaps Porzingis. Here's honestly what it is. It's me saying, with Don Nelson, okay? With Don Nelson, you got 88 speed, 93 interior, 83 perimeter, good rebounder at 7'3", one of the best center releases in the game. I love KP. You guys don't have to like it, but you fully badge him out and tell me how many better centers there are still in this game. We got to take into consideration, guys. The dude is still 7'3". He's still 7'3". Nobody can ever take that away from him. Marc Gasol, I'm sorry, guys. If you want to put him in A tier, do what you got to do. He will never be A tier for me. I think B tier is perfect for him. Again, got to get that speed upgraded just a little bit. But once you get that speed up there, defensively, he's going to take care of things. He really will. Hall of Fame bullet, obviously, release-wise, set shot 18 on quick. You get that down, Marc Gasol is very solid in my team. So we got to make some adjustments here, okay? We just got to do what we've got to do here. So I'm trying to think at B tier how I'd rank these. Jimmy's got to stay at B tier. I'm sorry, Marc Gasol, you gotta drop. Cat, you gotta drop. Let's see, Jarrett Allen. Bill's gotta stay. I think I like this right now. I really do, and I like Cat, but his release is just not great. So I think this is where I'm gonna stay for the time being. And Yao Ming, look, you might want to argue Yao in S tier. Maybe he'll get moved up eventually. I do not like running Yao Ming. I didn't run him in 250. I'd hate it because he can't really shoot. His speed is terrible. His lateral quickness is terrible. The only reason people run this card is because he's 7'6". That's it. And when we talk even about Ralph later on this tier list, it's going to be kind of the same thing, except Ralph at least can do a little bit more. Set shot 8 on normal timing. Look, I know people love Yao and still think he's the best center in the game, and I don't have a problem with that, but just don't know about Yao Ming for today's game. Jokic, look. Wherever Cat is, I feel like is where Jokic needs to be. The one thing I would say is this with Jokic, right? You look at him defensively is a little bit of a liability. Set shot 18 on normal, basically the same release as Cat. He provides something different than Cat. Cat's going to be way better defensively. Jokic going to be able to handle the ball a little bit more. I can't. Jokic is not very good. Jokic is D tier. I'm sorry. Jokic is one of those players you have to have a specific play style for him to fit you. And most people just don't have that play style. It's quite honestly that simple. We might drop Ayton down here in a little bit, but right now I'd be lying to say I'd take Jokic over Ayton. I just simply wouldn't. Patrick Ewing up next. Now here's the deal. Patrick Ewing right now is my favorite player at A tier. He just is. So if we do want 5 players at S tier, he's eventually going to get moved up. I like his power forward flexibility. Now we're not waiting. Patrick Ewing has to get moved up to S tier. Again, we're talking about the best of the best. Patrick Ewing has to be mentioned in that discussion. Great defensively, has jump shot 4 on quick. You upgrade the 3 ball a little bit, the card is perfect. I haven't really struggled with Patrick Ewing defense when I'm guarding him, and I've not really used the card enough, so that's why I'm kind of biased against him, but I do like what Patrick Ewing can provide to you guys. Precious Achiuwa. Look, man, there's one thing that's a problem with this card, and it's the fact that he's 6'8". If this card was just a little bit taller, everybody would love the card. The problem is, he's not. He is 6'8". But if you can play small ball, if you do like him at the power forward, I don't mind Precious in 2K at all. Big Ralph Sampson up next. Now, here's one thing I want to do, okay? To show you guys how good Ralph Sampson truly is, okay? 2 inches shorter than Yao. But outside of that, Ralph dogs Yao in every way possible. I know he's a little bit shorter. But outside of that, Ralph literally dogs this Yao Ming card. He dogs it. And it's not even particularly close. He legitimately dogs this Yao card. So I hate when people like Ralph's not good, all this stuff. Ralph is good in 2K. And if you got Wreck-It Ralph, you are probably tearing it up with him. Again, I told you earlier today, he literally dogged Kareem. because he's 7'4", and especially on next gen, you just can't make up that size difference. Robert Parrish up next, I think, is a perfect inclusion into B tier. The only problem with the card is he can't shoot that well. Outside of that, again, defensively, gonna be solid enough. Offensively, finishing wise, the dude can play, right? Set shot 14 on quick. I just wish his 3-ball was just that little bit better. It's the only problem I have with Robert Parrish. Shaq, look, Shaq's one of those cards. If he fits your playstyle, I can't argue against it, because he is the best interior big in the game. He just is. And if you play him at power forward, even on ball, like, he's the best big defensively in the game, right? And interior, you guys can see the finishing as far as mashing wise. The problem is nobody is shooting with Shaq. I don't care, unless you're G Rusty, green and consistent with Shaq, nobody's consistently knocking down shots with Shaq. It's just not probably going to happen. But again, I respect Shaq quite a bit. Wilt Chamberlain, another guy, I mean, you got to put an A tier. Especially, you know, when we talk about the 75th anniversary Wilt, that's the one we're referring to. His player motto is the reason you got to put him in A tier. You cannot put him any lower than A tier. I'm sorry, you just can't, especially with who's at B tier right now. I like Wilt, I really do, and I'm sad that I can't put him any higher. Big Wang for this time is in C tier, right with Karl Anthony Towns. Look, I'm not sitting here saying Wang is bad, but the problem again is he's just incomplete. Kat, it's his release. With Wang, it's just the defense more than anything. People were excited about Wang. He was ultimately a pretty big letdown in 2K. Last but certainly not least, Zydrunas Ilgauskas. Now, people, I think people use this card in 250, and I can't really sit up here and say why. This card is horrible. I get it, Bazemore release is fine. This card is horrible though. He is 7'3", right, which I can't put him in C tier because of that. He is B tier probably, but again, guys, I do not like Big Z at all. So how am I going to balance this thing out? Because we've got to. We've definitely got to balance this thing out a little bit. So D tier is fine. We got to bring one player down to C tier. Player's got to be Big Z. I'm sorry, it's just got to be, man. It's got to be what it is. I got to move one player up from A tier. And if I was to move one player up from A tier to S tier, I would. It's this, right? It's either Karl Malone, Ralph, or Yao. That's really it. And for today, I'm gonna move Karl Malone up. I don't like him at center, but I do think because he is so good, I gotta move him up. Gotta move one player down, and I'm not moving one player down. I just feel like all these guys definitely deserve an A tier. If you want to move KP down, that's maybe the route to go. But I guess if I move Big Z down, I gotta move base KP down. If your KP has extra Hall of Famers, he is still the man with the plan in 2K. So I guess this is going to ultimately be my final tier list of the center position. I want to know your guys' thought. Final tier list, like, it's end. Like, I'm not changing anything. I'll obviously do more center tier lists in the future. But I want to know your guys' thoughts on this tier list down below in the comments, guys. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe if you are new, and as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.